Hi, welcome to a new vlog. Today, so this is the beginning of a weekly vlog. I started this puzzle in the weekend a few days ago. It was using up my table, so I kind of wanted to continue, not only to free the table, but because, it's starting to look so nice. I want to see how it will look in the end, obviously. And also, tomorrow we are going to London to visit the design week. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to start today, work on this puzzle for a bit while listening to an audiobook. Then I'll take you tomorrow and we'll see where the week takes us. I made a tea, which I've drunk already. And I lit my candle and I've been working on the puzzle for the last couple of hours, I think. And the sun has now completely disappeared. It's all white and rainy. I want to tell you about the books that I'm going to be reading this week, or that I plan to read this week. First of all, I had just started Flowerheart by Catherine Bakewell. Actually, Alison Saft, that wrote A Far Wilder Magic from my last Cosy Fantasy video, has blurbed this book. And it says, Flowerheart is like a garden in full bloom, vibrant and sweet, whimsical and wondrous. And that's what I'm hoping to get from it. Basically, it follows a girl that has wild magic. She has tried to harness it, to contain it, to master it, but it's just not working. And in the beginning of the book, she hurts her father by mistake. And so it becomes urgent that she learn to work with her magic so she can save him. We also follow another character, which used to be her best friend when they were children, but they have kind of drifted apart, and he's now a master in magic and has decided to help her. But he did ask for a pretty steep price, which is her magic, when she finally saves her father. It seems like maybe he's hiding something, and that he doubts his magic, but he's put in a difficult position with this magical council. I've only read a few chapters, but you can definitely see that from the start, that something is not right with him anymore. He seems to hold this really prestigious position, but he looks like he's tired all the time and he's working through days and nights. But I assume there's going to be some sort of romance going between the two, so we'll see what happens. I'm slightly afraid about his side of the story, I'll be honest. But now moving on to the other book I want to read this week, and that is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This book is on my spring TBR, and I want to read a book from my spring TBR per video. I thought this could be a good one for this video, as we're attempting another Cosy Fantasy video. So it's a historical fae romance fantasy. It follows Theodora Ettings, I think, and when she was quite young, she lost half of her soul in a bargain with some fae. I don't know the details. But in present day, she has gone to London with her cousin, so they're both presented to society, or at least her cousin definitely is. So she captures the attention of the sorcerer because of her curse, and I think maybe a romance blossoms. We're gonna probably discover some mysteries of her condition or try and solve her condition. Not sure about the details, and actually not really interested to know any more about it. Those are my plans for this week. Today it was the puzzle, and I may continue for a bit more. Tomorrow it's London, and then we'll see. Obviously I want to get through these two books as well. I think that's all I have to tell you today. I will now go back to my puzzle, maybe update you later on my reading. But I'm really enjoying Flowerheart already. See you later.
And stems of lavender and lilac. The green maple leaf was tucked neatly at the bottom, a charm used for sending messages. Honey, no. It's my father. He collapsed, please. No, I said, a tremor in my voice breaking.
Hi, I just came back from my walk. I wasn't really planning on going, but after I finished with the puzzle for the day, I just wanted to continue listening to the book, and I thought, you know what? I haven't left the house today, might as well go exercise a bit and go on a walk while listening to the book. So that's what I did, and I actually ended up finishing it. I just got back home and brushed my hair because, oh my god, it's so windy out there, it's ridiculous. It was all in a knot. But yes, I finished Flowerheart and I really enjoyed it. It was just a nice, cozy book. There's no peril. You knew no one was going to die. And it's about this girl that really wants to be a witch, like an official witch, but she has been through a string of teachers and she's failed every time. And so she's kind of given an ultimatum, and when she gets that ultimatum, she ends up hurting her dad by mistake, and she's the only one that can save him because it was her magic that hurt him. Her magic has to be the one to save him. So she goes to one last teacher, which is actually her old friend Xavier, and there's a bit of a romance. She learns a lot about her magic and she learns to control it to then be able to save her father, which, spoiler alert, she obviously does. And yeah, it's just such a nice, cozy book. It does say that in terms of content warnings, it does say that it includes kind of drug abuse, magical drug abuse in this case, and it's definitely true and it's prevalent throughout the story, but it's not regarding our main characters. It's kind of like a mystery to solve, and so if that's okay with you, you know, just decide if it's okay with you or not. I personally didn't feel like it really affected me at all. It was actually a quite interesting mystery and also kind of helped with the urgency of the story, having into account that it's a cozy fantasy. You don't have much urgency, but that gave it a little pinch of it, which was quite nice. And it gave me kind of Howl's Moving Castle vibes. I'm not 100% sure why, but the magic was so whimsical. And there was this kind of magical house with a slide and a magical cupboard, and the characters were just so lovable and heartwarming. The plot was interesting, and it did include various things like her father's illness, drug abuse, really focused on the two main characters and their lives. So obviously our main character and her struggles, but also Xavier and like his relationship with his family and with the Magician's Council. It was a very complete book for such a small cozy fantasy book. I thought it was very well done. The writing was good and quite whimsical. I did feel like it could have had a bit more whimsical writing, especially about the atmosphere and the magic. Like, it was whimsical, but it could have been a bit more to really kind of emphasize that whimsy of this world. I just had the best time. It felt like a kind of medieval fantasy, full of flowers everywhere and magical houses, really cottagecore. I mean, I loved it. I had the best time. And the magic was all around potions and using flowers and natural ingredients within the potions. And our character was always kind of sprouting flowers because her magic is a bit wild, and that's like a side effect of it. And every time flowers sprouted around, it was for a specific reason. So if she was anxious with something that happened, a specific flower bloomed, and she would tell us that this flower relates in this way to anxiety. And it was just honestly so nice. And when there's like the declaration of love, so many different flowers that mean love sprouted around, and it's just so nice and heartwarming and whimsical, and I highly recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. I don't think it's the best book ever made. Xavier, like his character, confused me a bit because he first appears as a very young master magician that was already in the Council of Magicians. And he heard what the council was saying and he didn't agree, so he spoke out against what they were saying. Yeah, in the rest of the book, he was such a kind of shy and closed off character. But then, again, near the end, he was put in this position where there was a whole bunch of people around from this council where all of the wizards and witches and magicians are all a lot older than him. And he still spoke out quite confidently, and it didn't really fit together very well. It confused me why this shy cinnamon bun, kind of closed off, mysterious character would be confident enough to, because he is also a bit insecure. Like, how is he confident enough when he's definitely not confident in his magic? How is he confident enough to talk to these people in the way that he does? That confused me. Another thing, they felt like they were young adults, and they were actually 16 years old, so full-on teens, and I wasn't expecting that. When they told me that Xavier was 16, I had to go back and re-listen to it because I really couldn't believe it. The way he spoke throughout the whole of the book was very adult to me. And I actually would say the main character could be 16, but she would probably be more like 18 in my eyes. She did cry a lot, something else that annoyed me. She was a bit of a crybaby, which is fine. She was in an emotional and difficult situation. I did end up giving this 4 stars, which I think it's a solid rating. I had a great time reading it. I think that's all I have to update you for today. morning. It's now the next day. Yesterday was so much fun in London. I really wanted to go to Design Week for the longest time, and it was exactly what I was expecting. I had such a good time just kind of browsing all of the stands and seeing what's out there at the moment in terms of furnishings and wallpapers and textiles. There was even a stand that I loved, but I'm not sure if we filmed, which had all of these different wall coverings. That was definitely my favorite one. You know, it had very different types of things. So you could have textiles on the wall or padded panels. It was very fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure if you guys would be interested in this, but I did study interior design at university, so I love exploring different things to do with interior design. But I actually really hoped to go to, I think it might be the Design Biennale, because they have a lot more things. They have a lot more events and installations and that sort of thing, which I prefer even more than interior furnishings. Now, talking about the book, I managed to read for 4 hours, 2 hours on the train there and 2 hours back, obviously, and then a little bit when I was in bed. So I'm halfway through the book and I am loving it. All of the interactions between the two main characters are just chef's kiss. The characters are amazing. Even the side characters, I'm really invested in all of their lives already. Not already because I'm halfway through, but I'm definitely invested in all of their lives. And the two main characters, when they interact, it's just pure gold. I am loving it, especially the fact that obviously the main character has only half a soul, so she's not very good at social interactions. They have a lot of difficulty conforming to the standards of behavior in this historical society. And it's just so fun and heartwarming. I love the banter, and the kind of side plots as well are quite interesting and really spicing up the book. I'm having the best time. I'm really, really loving it, and I hope to continue this way. But I'm here in the kitchen because I just made myself a cup of coffee, which I've been drinking, and I did get dressed, but I still have to finish all of this up to go out for a walk and to maybe get some breakfast. And then the idea is to come back home, read, and maybe do something in the afternoon. We'll see. But I'll catch up with you later on in the day. I stopped at my favourite local bakery, Bread Source, for the best croissants in Norwich. In the afternoon, I decided to bake a poppy seed lemon loaf to eat in the next few days. Start by zesting and juicing the lemons. In a mixing bowl, whisk flour and poppy seeds. With an electric mixer, whisk the butter and sugar, adding the eggs one by one with the lemon zest. Mix the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients until just incorporated. Bake the cake for around an hour and then let it cool for at least 10 minutes before adding the icing. For the icing, mix together confectionate sugar and lemon juice. The cake doesn't look perfect, but it does taste amazing. I think something definitely went wrong with the butter, but that's fine. I mean, you live and learn. Next time it will definitely be better. Welcome to the end of the vlog. I really enjoyed filming this. Not only did I get to go to London and walk around the Riverside, but we're still making our way through that lemon and poppy seed loaf, which is divine. Even though it does look a little bit burnt, I mean, you saw it's not really on the inside, and I do love a crunchy crust, so it's perfect for me. But talking about the books, I finished Half a Soul and Flowerheart. I read this obviously on Kindle and Flowerheart on Audible, and I already gave my final thoughts on Flowerheart. But I kind of just wanted to conclude by saying that I really enjoyed the book, even though it's clearly kind of young adult, relatively tropey, and not very surprising. But I did still have a very good time reading it. It was perfect for spring, and the only two things I would have wanted would have been more time with just the two main characters so we could see their love redeveloping throughout the book. So maybe it could be a little bit longer and have more of those moments between the two of them. And I also would have liked Xavier, the male interest, to just have consistent personality traits. But apart from that, I was very happy with the book. As I said, yes, a bit predictable, but not in a bad way. But I definitely didn't do a final summary for Half a Soul, so let's get into that now. I preferred Half a Soul to Flowerheart. I loved both books, but I definitely love this one a lot more. The characters, all the characters were just amazing. I loved the dynamic between the two main characters, and especially the romantic plot line. It was really, really nice. Like all of the scenes with just the two of them, or even with someone else present, but focusing on the two of them, were just so good. I love that it was low stakes, but still had darkness. You know, people go through things and they don't have necessarily sheltered lives, and you really see that in this book a bit more than in Flowerheart. But there's also hope and just a lot of heartwarming moments that really just makes you love and care for these characters. And I think what really shows how much I enjoyed this book is that at the end, I just wanted to continue with the story. I wanted to stay in their lives for longer. And so actually I ended up reading 2 short stories that the author has uploaded on her website, because I just wanted to stay with them for longer than the length of the book. And I didn't think anything was missing. I literally just wanted to follow more of their life after the end of the book, which really proves that I loved the characters and the story and the world, and I just wanted to continue in their life for longer than what we had. Something that annoyed me was the fact that the main character would constantly mention that she didn't know if other people would feel the way she's feeling, or she imagines that that's how happiness feels like and that sort of thing, because, you know, she only has half a soul. And the majority of those times I'm like, yeah, I get that. I know you only have half a soul. This is not a surprise for me. I also quite enjoyed the twist at the end, much better than in Flowerheart, and I mean, it was good. I was relatively surprised. And yeah, I think that's all. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I think that's a really good rating. I gave Flowerheart 4 stars, which also very good rating for that book. I imagine a lot of other people are going to be giving it lower ratings, especially adults reading this book, because it's quite predictable. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!